How about a Coppola quick facts?
There are a ton of quick facts about this movie. It's kind of a cult classic, and then the Coen Brothers, anything that happens with the Coen Brothers. This was kind of the movie that really catapulted Nick Cage to stardom. So this is, I feel like this is a beloved, time-honored film, so of course there would be a ton of quick facts about it. The Coen Brothers wanted this film to be the polar opposite of their debut, which was Blood Simple, and as such, they made it more positive and upbeat with sympathetic characters, whereas like everybody in Blood Simple is a garbage human, and terrible, and it's more akin to like No Country for Old Men, where it's kind of a crime story that. It's got kind of a noir feel to it, which some directors can do well, and others. Christopher Coppola, Christopher Coppola it. After the success of Blood Simple, the Coen Brothers wanted to do Hudsucker Proxy as their next film. So I guess they had written it already, but Hudsucker Proxy had an estimated budget of $40 million. So they were a little less likely to get that kind of money, and so they decided to just buckle down, and they had like a window where they were supposed to put out a film, so they wrote this, and this took 3.5 months for them to write and put together. Film was shot over 10 weeks, wow. Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's quick.
The Coens came to set with a complete script and storyboard with a budget of over $5 million. Joel noted that to obtain maximum for that money, the movie had to be meticulously prepared. So everything in that was like, they had the whole film storyboarded out to the T, and it led to some battles between Nicolas Cage and the Coen Brothers.
Really? Even that early on in his career? Yeah, I heard about this.
Yep. I mean, he was coming off of The Boy in Blue, that hit.
Cult classic.
I think he did do Moonstruck about this time, so yeah. Maybe he was feeling like he had a little bit of heat, and but he's just one of those. He's just one of those guys, if he doesn't believe that it's exactly the way that it should be, then he's not gonna be fully engaged in the film.
Yeah, I guess they had some back and forth, huh? A little bit of some arguments with him.
Yeah, I always wondered why Cage was never in another Coen Brothers movie. This is why. The relationship between Nicolas Cage and the Coen Brothers was respectful but turbulent. When he arrived on set and at various points during production, Cage offered suggestions to the Coen Brothers, which they largely ignored. Cage said that Joel and Ethan have a very strong vision, and I've learned how difficult it is to accept another artist's vision. They have an autocratic nature. Joel replied that he understood why Cage would make that statement, saying that it was a lot of fun working with Nick, but that some of his improvs clashed with their vision and had to be edited. However, the Coens clarified that they would much prefer working with an actor who, like Cage, possessed a fertile imagination over one whose performance needed to be kickstarted. So, it seems to me that it was almost the exact same thing that happened on Vampire's Kiss, but the Coen Brothers reined him in. The guy who directed Vampire's Kiss wasn't able to rein him in and just kind of let him do his thing. And that guy had never directed before. The Coens only had done one film, so I guess it's a testament to the Coen Brothers that so early in their career, and they were pretty young at that point. I think they were probably in their 30s at that point, because they're like in their mid 60s now.
Makes sense.
He cannot be an easy guy to rein in.
No. Yeah, because even like on Moonstruck, it seemed like he was very adamant about crafting his own performance. Yeah, whether the director 100%. Wanted it that way or not.
He definitely did his own thing.
Yeah, coming off of that, I could definitely see these guys were like, what the fuck? Just ignore him and he'll just have to do what we say. And we'll just cut the shit that he does that doesn't work.
If you really watch his performance, like, I've never seen Nick Cage give quite this same performance in anything else. And I really feel like that was the Coen Brothers, They really were able to mold him into what they wanted him to be.
Yeah, it was,
The whole time they were like, "Don't do that damn Humphrey Bogart impression."
What are you talking about? See? Don't love it, see? And I'm running from the cops. That's how
Let's go get Nathan
no
Jr.
trouble.
See?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they got a great performance out of him. And it speaks to, I mean, you just see it throughout these guys' careers. They get the best out of the people that they have.
They really do. And like, even in this movie, this was pretty, I mean, this is really early in their career, like 3-4 years into their career. Mm-hmm. Every single person who appears on screen for any amount of time is engaging and interesting and like a whole developed character on their own. And that's the thing that I always love so much about Coen Brothers movies is like every single character has a personality. Getting cat attacked over there. Yeah. Like you look at like a movie like No Country for Old Men, just think of like the random characters that are in that, like the guy in the convenience store that Anton Chigurh interacts with, the hotel manager. It's the same thing with this, where it's like the guy who sells the balloons to William Forsythe is a whole developed character. The guy, even the dude who's just screaming in the truck. It feels like a real human being.
It really does. It just feels like
the guy he works with in the metal shop. He's only got like 3 lines.
Who is that guy is the star of Blood Simple.
Oh, really? Okay.
I forget his name, but
that's so
great actor. He's worked with the Coens a lot. Let's quickly talk about the tattoo. The little tattoo that he has on his arm, and then that Lenny has later on that we see. Nicolas Cage actually got that tattoo ahead of filming.
It's an actual tattoo?
So I went back and forth on this because I've seen people say that it wasn't a real tattoo, and I've seen people say that it was a real tattoo. If you look at Nicolas Cage now, his Ghost Rider tattoo is over the top of that spot.
Really?
So he either covered it up after the film, maybe because of the sour taste that was left in his mouth about how he felt about not being able to do his own thing in that film. A cat just gripping on for dear life. No.
Yeah, he's the only cat I've had that aggressively snuggles. He will not be denied. He's the Harvey Weinstein of cats, I guess.
All right.
Oh my God.
So I'm not positive if he actually had that tattoo or not. I have read several people say that he actually got that tattoo, but it's not there anymore. And I think it was replaced with that Ghost Rider tattoo.
I could see him liking Woody Woodpecker enough to get a Woody Woodpecker tattoo.
Yeah.
And then just later cover it up with Ghost Rider.
It's a common misconception that it is Roadrunner. A lot of people think that it's Roadrunner and that
Woody Woodpecker. Or did I say cover up? Oh, sorry. Cover up with Ghost Rider. Never mind. My brain just crossed Ghost Rider and Roadrunner.
Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
Ghost Runner. Coming to you soon on Disney Plus from my love for Ghost Rider.
It's a common misconception that it's a Roadrunner tattoo and that Nick Cage was going for a Wile E. Coyote performance, which is actually what I used to think, but he was actually going for a Woody Woodpecker performance. That is the Woody Woodpecker logo for Thrush Exhaust, which is why it shows up in Gone in 60 Seconds, because that's an actual exhaust company, and he got the logo from that company in that tattoo. But it is, in fact, Woody Woodpecker. Though they didn't agree on everything, Cage and the Coens shared the same vision when it came to the tone of the film. The movie is basically a live-action cartoon, and Cage even saw H.I. as a cartoon character, specifically Woody Woodpecker. After reading the script, he said, "I saw the character as a kind of Woody Woodpecker come to life, an outlaw version of Woody Woodpecker." According to Ethan Coen, Nicolas Cage was crazy about his Woody Woodpecker haircut, and that it reacts to H.I.'s stress level throughout the film. The bigger the danger he's in, the bigger the wave in his hair gets. So it just gets crazier and crazier depending on what's going on. So like you know, in the more calm moments, he has it slicked back, and then when he's freaking out, he's
It's all poofed out. Yeah, it was a great
He does
touch.
look a lot like Woody Woodpecker in a lot of the scenes. Okay, jumping over to the demon biker, Randall Tex Cobb. Surprisingly, was not familiar with riding motorcycles at all prior to filming. While shooting the scene where he rides up to inspect the hole where Evel and Gail had escaped from prison, he actually crashed into the hole in one of the takes. He apparently gave the Coens a lot of difficulty on set, probably more so than Nicolas Cage, with Joel Coen noting that he's less an actor than a force of nature. I don't know if I'd rush headlong into employing him for a future film. Which is funny. He does seem like he might be a little difficult to work with. But I think that's sort of what his character is in everything that I've ever seen him in. He's just kind of an ass.
Yeah.
Difficult person. The character of Leonard Smalls was created when the Coen brothers tried to envision an evil character not from their imagination, but one that High would have thought up, which comes into play later. I have some questions about the demon biker, and exactly if he's a real person, or if he's an imaginary person, or if he's just something that was born out of, like a Stephen King book where like the writer like writes something and then suddenly the character comes to life. This is like, I don't know. If you go by the idea of like this is basically just one big long cartoon, that kind of makes sense. Frances McDermott and Holly Hunter were actually roommates together at the Yale School of Drama in 1982, and the Coen brothers actually wrote Holly Hunter's character specifically for her. Which is funny, like if you go through their career. I mean, Frances McDermott is in almost every single Coen Brothers movie, which makes sense because she's married to, I think it's Joel Coen. She's really? Married to. And she's been married to him since, I think, 1984, something like that. So, I mean, one of those Hollywood couples that's actually survived through, I mean, these are two heavy hitters. Frances McDermott is... Oscar winner, multiple nominations, and then the Coen brothers are the Coen brothers, so.
I never knew that. Crazy. That's crazy. They've been married that long. And I never
that explains why she's in like all their movies.
Yeah.
I just figured she's also a great actress.
Yeah. I just figured
she steals Fargo, I mean, from start to finish. She is the driving force of that movie.
Yeah.
This is funny. So after this movie came out, a lot of people in Arizona were real upset. Which I guess I get, but like they were very upset about the portrayal of Arizona. And the mayor of Scottsdale, Herb Drinkwater, proclaimed that the film had no redeeming social value and that it certainly isn't the image Arizona wants to project. Like fun, enjoyable, not terrible.
Kooky.
Wait, so it's not a big desert?
It's not a big hole in the ground. Big 110-degree hole in the ground. According to Sam McMurray, one day he and Nicolas Cage went out to eat at a diner, and an excited female fan came over to their table. She couldn't decide if the man she was looking at was really Nicolas Cage. Once convinced it was him, she asked him for an autograph, and Cage wrote on a cocktail napkin, "Tomorrow you will die, Nick Cage." My absolute favorite story from all of the facts that I've found. If we ever get famous, I'm going to sign everything. "Tomorrow you will die, Patrick."
That's incredible.
This is, of course, a cult classic, but a few favorites of ours. Matthew McConaughey has said that this movie is the movie that he has watched the most times, and this is the favorite film of writer-director Edgar Wright, who is potentially the second one down the list of directors that I go and see everything that they do behind the Coen brothers. Final quick fact, this is amazing to me. Kevin Costner auditioned for the role of H.I. McDonough 3 times. Kevin Costner. Could you imagine Kevin Costner in that role? I mean, he
can.
really wanted it.
I can't.
But
I can kind of see it, yeah.
I don't think it would have been the same.
Yeah.
But I think he would have done
He
something
could have
similar.
done something
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Especially directed by the Coens, because the Coens, they're just using him as as basically a puppet for
Yeah.
the Coen brothers. So I think they could have gotten something really good out of Kevin Costner.
That's
To my
funny,
knowledge,
yeah.
I don't think Kevin Costner's ever worked with the Coen brothers.
I was about to say I don't think he has, but I know I've heard him talk very highly of them, and has said that he's wanted to collaborate with them, but it's never lined up, which is nuts.
Sad. That's sad. I mean, they made a lot of films. You would think Kevin Costner would fit in somewhere, or at least a lot of times like I forget who it is, but they had like 3 movies in a row where one actor had tried to be in their movies, and they just eventually wrote him a role for a movie that they were doing. I forget who that is. Write us at onecage@a-time at gmail.com. Or onecagepodcast@gmail.com.